Hey friends, it's Troy, your hourly flipper here. Got a little bit different of a video today. First, I've got a question. Would you ship with me? Please ship with me. I've got 8 items here. I'm going to show you how I'm going to pack them. And what's going to happen is as I pack them, you're going to learn a couple of ways that I think are unique of getting materials. And also, you're going to learn my ratio of and also, you're going to learn how much I'm actually making. I'll tell you how much they've sold for as they go into the bag. All right? So that's going to be super easy. If you think that's boring, I'm going to sprinkle in between every few items some reseller jokes. All right? So brace for that as well. Future Troy's going to jump in with some hilarious jokes. All right? Here we go. You're going to see an apparatus on my shoulder, and I'm going to ship these things, and we're going to talk this through. See you in just a little bit. All right. I don't know if there's too much wiggle in this. Let's leave that there. But we're going to start with these Dallas DVDs. We've got 5 different seasons of the old show Dallas on, again, DVD. These sold for $39. I paid $1 each, so $4 into 39. That's a pretty good ratio. You may think, my goodness, why didn't those go for more? And the answer is joke number 9. Why did the reseller bring his ladder to Goodwill? Because he heard that profits were going through the roof. She unfortunately wrote her name and address on all of those so that if she borrowed those out, they would come back home. And I've noted that on the description, and that affected the price a little bit, particularly on a offer. So how in the world do you pack such things? You could put them in a box. Yep, absolutely. But I have 10 by 13 padded envelopes, and all I do is take the 2 and then carefully, dropped it already, put 2 in like that, shake it down to the bottom, and then put 2 more in, down to the bottom. I can easily fold that, and that is done. All right. I'm going to save you the time of joke number 8. You know you're a reseller when your living room looks more like a warehouse and you feel more at home in your warehouse. I'm going to save you the time of printing the label and all that kind of stuff and put anything in it that I'm actually going to additionally, a la packing paper, because I hate the sound of packing paper being stuffed in when I hear other shipping videos. Let me tell you what I'm going to be using for my packing paper, and this is tip number 1. That's awesome. Go to these estate sales, and of course you're looking for inventory, but also look for other business supplies. I often find tape at drastically reduced prices as compared to online or store purchases. And you know, when it's not Christmas time, Christmas paper and wrapping paper are practically free, especially on the last day of a sale. Do you see that bag that it's full of tissue paper? Got that for $1, and tissue paper makes pretty good wrapping paper. All right. My other tip is actually something that I do pay full price for, but it's actually something that in the long run is cheaper than what other options are. Most people talk about bubble wrap and how bubble wrap is how they keep their items protected. If I'm not using the tissue paper, I have this brown paper, but it's not just usual brown paper. If I give this a pull, let me show you. Look, oh, it becomes what is that called, I guess? It's not I don't know the name of it, but it becomes shipping paper that's very voluminous. And it's what I use instead of bubble wrap, and it works perfectly. Two reasons. One, it's not plastic, it's paper. And also, I find that these go on sale more easily than bubble wrap. I found them in Target on sale in the business or in the office area. So cheap, like $2 or $3 a roll. This one was a $6 roll, but it is, 100 feet or whatever, because it expands as you pull it. All right. So I wanted to share that up front. I've got another shipping tip towards the end of things that I find at estate sales for shipping. But let's go back to the next thing. I paid $1.59 for this book, and go back into my catalog to find out how awesome the comic book paraphernalia lot was. But again, that's $1.59. I turned that into $14.99. All I do is put that into that same envelope. Done. All right. This was also $1.59 at our local Goodwill. It is brand new, unused bodyweight home workout. Here is a smaller padded envelope that it is going to go into. My wife took a picture of me playing Galaga, and when I saw the picture, I thought, this is probably the way my customers look when they're checking for tracking updates. Why, Troy, is that an eBay bubble wrap? Poly mailer? Yes, it is. I found this at an estate sale, and I bought $50 worth of those, and there were so many of them that it worked out to be about 7 cents a piece, all different sized. So again, when you go to estate sales, look for business supplies as well. That book was $14.99 as well, paid $1.59. Often at estate sales, you see boxes, small little boxes of miscellaneous remote controls. I have found universally that you can get 6 to 8, universally, for remote controls, get it? But I found that you can get $6 to $8 on normal remotes. If that's worth your time, then that's worth buying. But this one was in a box, and this one sold for $14.99. That's a reoccurring theme. Let me show you what I do to ship it. Here's a smaller padded envelope that's in there, and that's done. Voila. Joke number next. I told my friend that I make money flipping things, and they said, oh, like pancakes? And I said, no, flipping pancakes makes more money. I paid $2 for this, tubing for your ferret. How often do you need tubing for your ferret? Not very often, because I've had that almost a year. But someone finally bought that, and I made note that the box is damaged, but it is completely new. I got that at a local thrift store that is not our Goodwill, but paid $2 for it. Sold it for $19.99. All right. Put that in a poly mailer, and that is done. Okay. Want to show you something neat. All right. Most people with comic books talk about Gemini mailers. Okay. And they are a certain kind of box that are okay. But I like these much better. They're tabbed box mailers. And I get the white ones. This is something that you should keep your eye out. This is definitely a bolo. It is Stray Kids is a K-pop band. And if you can get K-pop stuff for incredibly cheap, This was $9.99 and I've sold it for $60. That's pretty great, and it sold pretty quickly. But how in the heck am I going to ship this? First, I'm gonna wrap it in paper. It went for 60 bucks. Anything over 20 bucks, I pretty much put paper around it. And that is a little bit to pad it as it sends, as it's being shipped. But also it's the feeling of, whoa, they took care in packaging this. And I like that. It results in more positive reviews, okay? So imagine this is in wrapping paper. All you do, tissue paper, I meant. All you do is put this on your little box thing. And if I wanted to be chintzy, I take the box and I could say, with a lot of tape, hey, done. But what I'm actually gonna do is flip this over and put another box around it. So imagine receiving this. You got paper around the actual box of the item, and then it is double boxed. That is gonna feel very secure, and positive reviews will result, okay? All right, I'm gonna actually tape that up and all later. Second to last thing. This was something I paid $3.99 for at Goodwill. Brand new. It's a Filthy Riches program to make money with real estate. And as you can see, it's all together in plastic. What am I gonna do to get a box to ship that? Well, here's what's funny. Remember I told you I got these? And actually I bought them off Amazon. Not a problem to let you know because we're not in competition. But the box that those came in is almost a perfect size. I say almost, so you know what I'm gonna do? Let's put this down in the chair. I'm gonna take that, wrap it up, in tissue paper, of course. It's down in there. And I have cut to make this, they often call this a Frankenbox, which you take more and you fold it down, and it is securely boxed. It is gonna send, and everybody's gonna be happy when they receive it, all right? So use non-traditional packing materials along the way. Two examples are, again, that tissue paper and boxes that you receive things in, even if they're other boxes. You haven't lived until you find a $2 item that sells for $100 and then find out that the item is missing a piece. The last thing I want to show you is this retro backpack. It is such an unusual size. There's not going to be a poly mailer for that. So what am I going to do? At one of the estate sales, I bought a box of construction bags. It is very sturdy, very thick black plastic. And the camera's going down in there. Okay, that was funny. But so is this backpack. I'm going to take it closed and I hope this is amazing content. They are going to get a very well packaged vintage backpack, and it cost me pennies to get together. The tape is probably going to cost more than the bag actually did. And there you go. I have 8 items that I've showed you how I'm going to ship them, and I hope you liked it. Okay? Okay. Last one. Reselling is 10% finding deals and 90% finding where you put them. If you have any questions about this, do let me know. Wait, let me turn this off and come back with a more natural view. Okay, what did you think? That is how I ship it. Again, what you're gonna miss is if it was over $20, I'm gonna wrap it in some of that tissue paper. If not, it's gonna be sent as is. I'm gonna tape around it so you don't have to hear that tape, and then go through eBay to get my shipping labels and put them on. You saw the nitty gritty, the things that actually are of value for you to put into practice. Also, did you like the jokes? Let me know. I used a new harness to make a video. Let me know if you liked that. Put that down in the comments. And also the jokes. Would you like me to intersperse more jokes in future videos? Let me know that below. Do you know any hysterical jokes that you'd like to share? Type that in down there too. All right. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day.